What really is money? Let's start by understanding this. The money in your pocket isn't actually real. Sure, you can hold it, but for that money to exist, somewhere out there, someone has to be in debt. In short, someone goes into debt and you hold money. Strange, right? But that's exactly how the system spins. Think about it. One person's loan, another person's government bond, or the millions borrowed by corporations. All of these things create new money within the system. So money isn't wealth, it's just debt in motion. Basically, what you think you own is really a more sophisticated way of someone saying, I owe you. Most people still think this. Banks take our money, then lend it out to others. Simple, right? Someone deposits, someone withdraws. But in reality, that's not how it works at all. When a bank gives you a loan, it doesn't take money from someone else's account to hand it to you. It simply types into a computer. Your account has been credited with X amount. And just like that, brand new money is created. A bank is like a magician, except instead of pulling a rabbit out of a hat, it pulls out money. But of course, there's a price for this trick. That money only exists on one condition. You have to pay it back, with interest. So every bit of money in the system is born from debt. And as debts are paid off, the system demands new ones. In short, the money world is like a never-ending treadmill. It's not just banks. Governments play the same game. Taxes aren't enough. The treasury runs dry. So the solution is simple: borrow. They issue government bonds, basically saying, lend us money and we'll pay you back with interest. And that debt, too, creates new money. But here's the little surprise waiting for citizens. You'll be the ones paying this debt. In other words, today's prosperity is hidden in tomorrow's taxes, and there's one unbreakable rule in this system. If debt doesn't grow, the system collapses. That's why governments, central banks, and economists keep shouting, growth, 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 because the system simply can't breathe without debt. Naturally, this has some consequences. First, inflation. When new money keeps being created, the value of what you already have drops. Second, inequality. The rich lend and earn interest, the poor borrow and pay interest, and the result? Money keeps floating upward. Third, dependence. The system has been built so that it can't survive without debt. If no one borrows, the economy stops. Imagine that. For the system to stay healthy, people must stay in debt. A bit ridiculous, isn't it? The interesting part is that it wasn't always like this. Throughout history, money has taken many different forms. For example, in ancient Mesopotamia, farmers borrowed grain from temples. When debts piled up, the king would step in and declare, "All right, everyone's debts are forgiven." It wasn't called debt cancellation. It was a way to save society. Otherwise, people would be so buried in debt they couldn't even farm. Or take medieval England, where people used wooden sticks instead of coins. Yes, real wood. They would carve the debt amount on the stick and then split it in half. One piece stayed with you, the other with the state. That system lasted for over 500 years. Just imagine, could today's credit system survive that long? There was also a time when people believed money is gold. If there was gold, there was money. If not, no money. It was reassuring but also a bit rigid, because when new gold was found, prices shot up. When gold ran out, the economy froze. So yes, the gold standard was solid, but it was too strict, with zero flexibility. Lincoln's money, the greenbacks. During the U.S. Civil War, Abraham Lincoln did something bold. Instead of borrowing from banks, he issued his own money, greenbacks. This money wasn't born from debt. It was created directly by government power. And it worked. But of course, the banks weren't thrilled. They couldn't profit from loans anymore. So, as always, the system found a way to protect its own interests. Could it be different? Of course. In the 1930s, Switzerland created the WIR Bank. Here, businesses gave each other interest-free credit. There wasn't even real money, just trust. And guess what? The system is still running today. Some cities have local currencies, like the Bristol pound. It only circulates within the city, so money stays in the community. Think of it as a small world with a big economy. And of course, there's Bitcoin. Born out of frustration with central banks, it belongs to no one, and its supply is limited. To some, it's freedom. To others, digital gambling. But one thing's for sure, Bitcoin is a slap in the face to the idea that money must be born from debt. Next comes CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. In this system, money is created directly by the central bank. No debt, but there's something else: surveillance. Every transaction can be tracked. It's a world of debt-free money, but zero freedom. History has shown us again and again, money doesn't have to be based on debt. But the current system is too profitable for anyone to want to change it. Banks earn through interest, governments fund themselves through debt, investors make money from money. So for those at the top, the system works perfectly. But this system isn't natural. It's not a law of nature. It's just a design. And designs can be changed. Money is, at its core, just an idea, a promise of trust. And right now, that trust is tied to debt. But it doesn't have to stay that way forever. To rethink money is to rethink the world itself. Because money isn't just paper in your wallet. It's the biggest story ever told about who holds power and who owes whom.